Yo, what's up, everybody? We're back at it with another episode 6 of the ECB Cast podcast, where we talk about NBA and everything like that. Today, we got a few topics that we want to go over, such as early rookie ratings. We want to talk about how some people are outplaying, what we expected of them, and some people aren't performing to the par or to the expectations we had set of them. Some teams are doing awesome in the early season. Some teams are doing absolutely garbage. Compared to where they were last year, and we're going to talk about some contracts as well. But first and foremost, I just want to say we apologize for the long layoff. Some of our teammates got injured. Life happens, but we're back, and we're going to be pushing out a lot more content. So I know my man Aray has a lot to say about some rookies, and I'm gonna let him start off with it.
So honestly, you can actually take the floor with this one because a lot of you guys have a different opinion than me. I'll let you guys say your opinion,
All right.
and then I'll say why I disagree.
Okay. Mine is kind of a hot take. I wanna do it in the middle or like towards the end because it's gonna be a while. I don't wanna talk about like this one rookie and then everyone keeps talking about him. I know. Kyle had a certain rookie in mind.
Yeah. One guy who I've been really impressed with so far, and a lot of people have been calling him the steal of the draft up till right now, has been Tyrese Halliburton. He was drafted by the Sacramento Kings, I believe, with like the 12th or 13th pick, and a lot of people at the time were surprised that he even fell that far. I know he was playing a lot of fourth quarters in particular because he was just so efficient and wasn't really turning the ball over. So far in his career, I mean, he hasn't had a game where he's turned the ball over more than twice. Even granted, he did just get hurt. He took a little bit of a scary fall versus the Houston Rockets. But all in all, I've just been very impressed by him. Luke Walton is trusting him out there in the fourth quarter, while Sacramento's having a lot of problems with Marvin Bagley and De'Aaron Fox's dad's arguing on Twitter. But Tyrese Halliburton has just been a breath of fresh air for them, and it's been good to see.
Yeah, I love the this is completely unrelated, but I love the little jokes that come with his name. Like if he makes a lot of threes, his name is Tyrese Halliburton or some shit like that. I always find that shit super funny. All right, continue, Aray.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like Tyrese has definitely been. I don't want to say steal because like it was a 12th pick, so everyone kind of expected him to be good. I feel like the reason why he fell so far in the draft was he's the type of player that's pretty much good at everything, but he's not exceptionally good at one thing. And I think that's kind of why he fell in the draft. He, like you said, he's super efficient. And I was watching that game where he was playing against Houston, and he was pretty much everywhere on the court. And that's one thing that surprised me was his defensive efficiency. He was like literally all over the place, tipping passes, getting steals, and making the right play. And that's not something you see typically from a rookie, especially a point guard. So I definitely think he was playing super well as a rookie.
Well, one of the big names for rookies, we all know about James Wiseman. Honestly, I've been watching a lot of Warriors basketball, and just watching James Wiseman, there's so much potential in him. I know this might be a big of a stretch to say that he has flashes of like Giannis-like play. Just because he's able to dribble, it was only one play where he got a block and then he was able to dribble down court and do a Euro step dunk, stuff like that. But there's definitely a lot of upside to him, a lot of potential that you can already see, and like this is probably, I know it's a bit early to say, but probably the best center that Stephen Curry's played with in his career. So James Wiseman just has surprised me with how quickly he has picked up on Warriors basketball. Like he could shoot threes. He's shooting at 41%, so that's pretty good. He's like blocking. He's guarding the paint, and I'm sure with Draymond's mentoring, he'll only become a better defensive player. So just wanted to say that about James Wiseman. Definitely loving what he's doing.
That's kind of interesting. Because I remember not too long ago, there was an argument about if James Wiseman was worth it and if he would fit into the Warriors system. I will say that I'm really surprised with the way he's shooting, because even though it is a small sample size, 41% is not easy to do, and especially like with the way that people were projecting him to be, I really think that he is like a good rookie. I mean, it is kind of a stretch to say that, like, he's kind of like Giannis, but I do see the flashes that you're talking about. One rookie in particular, I'm probably gonna divide the group up a little bit.
Nah.
with this comment.
Let me say something with James Wiseman real quick
Okay.
before I cut you off. My bad.
No,
So,
you already
like-
did. It's okay. Go for it.
All right. So earlier you guys were saying that he's a potential rookie of the year, which I'm not disagreeing to, but okay. So Narf was saying that basically he's probably he could be one of the best centers that Curry has played with. Dude, he's literally the same as JaVale McGee. So right now, and it's kind of hard to say this, but I'm looking at the stats alone. So he's shooting 41% from three, and that's definitely a surprise. But so is McGee. McGee's actually shooting higher than that this season.
How many threes is he attempting per game?
So McGee is attempting a little bit over 1 threes per game, but Wiseman is also attempting 1.5 threes per game.
1.7 threes per game. That's
man, that's so much of a difference. But hear
I
me
mean,
out.
that's almost 2 threes a game. I don't know.
If you look at
come on,
if you
you don't look at JaVale McGee and go like, oh man, he's a 3-point threat. Like, no,
Yeah, you're not
Bro,
you're
hear
not
me out,
considering that James Wiseman is a rookie. JaVale McGee has been playing in the league for a while. So like at this
Yes.
level, like he's
I'm
a
just trying
rookie
to
and he's
say-
playing like this.
I'm just trying to say, I don't
my
want
man, ease up with the facts, bro. Oh,
I don't
my
want. I
God.
just want.
Hey.
All I'm trying to say is like I don't want you guys overhyping Wiseman. If you
We're
look
not.
at his last, okay, all right. But if you look
Hey.
at his last 5 games, he hasn't hit a single three. He's like, I don't know. He's like 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 from three. So that number has been dropping, and he definitely started off super strong. But like I said, like he's basically reminds me of JaVale McGee.
For sure.
Guys, where's this JaVale McGee disrespect coming from? Are you forgetting he's a former MVP, former Shackton MVP? Like,
Oh,
what are we doing here?
Don't do
Hey
it.
man, I think they already bridged the gap. JaVale and Shaq. I think they're friends now. But like, so the real rookie that I want to talk about is freaking LaMelo Ball, bro.
Yo, my fantasy MVP.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this, okay? If you're looking at pure stats wise, just pure stats, right? LaMelo, I think he's either playing better or the same as Lonzo. And Lonzo has been in the league for a few years. I'm not talking about defensive. I'm not talking about plus minus rating or anything like that. If you're looking at just the stats, LaMelo's doing great. Now his like percentages and stuff like that aren't that great, but like, I mean, he's doing pretty good for a rookie. I think he's doing pretty good. So now I'm ready to be flamed. My body is ready. Y'all take it away. I'm ready to be attacked. Let's go.
Honestly, man, I'm not going to attack you. I honestly think that he's probably playing as one of the better rookies this season. He came into the season with a lot of expectations, especially at his height and his skill set. So those numbers aren't to be taken lightly, but they are pretty good numbers. Dude, honestly, the way he's playing, like he's basically really close to flirting with a triple-double every night. So he could honestly be the youngest player to ever put up a triple-double. I'm not saying it's going to be like, he's nasty because he's putting up a triple-double. I just think it's pretty interesting.
Like he's putting up 11.6 points, 4.9 assists, and then 4.7 rebounds, right? And if you look at just the number, he's shooting 1.6 or making 1.6 threes a game. And obviously that's less than, the rookie of the year, James Wiseman, who has 1.7 made 3-pointers. But like, I just think it's like people were hating on him, and a lot of people were just saying that LaMelo wasn't going to amount to anything or anything like that.
I don't know. I feel like people always thought LaMelo had a very high ceiling. It's just whether he would go towards the fame or towards his actual basketball ability.
After the first game where he had like 0 points, I remember I was talking to my man Aray, and he's like, "Dude, LaMelo is so trash. He had 0 points." And
What? I never said that.
Yes,
bro.
you did. I remember. You were trash talking the man.
Bro. And every time Aray always hates on a player if they're not named Marcus Smart. That's it.
Bro, we're not going there. We're not going there right now. That is straight cap.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Bro, listen. If you guys remember the first podcast or the second podcast, I don't remember which one. I was saying that LaMelo has the highest ceiling. He's probably going to be the best player in this draft. So I was not hating. I was just saying I'm surprised that he came off to a slow start. I don't know where these words came from. No, I don't know where these came from.
How quickly they forget, bro.
For real.
Yo, speaking of quickly, Yo, Emmanuel.
Yo,
Have you
Emmanuel,
guys seen him?
quickly. Yes,
He's
I
been
want to
nice,
talk
bro.
about him too.
Go
That's
for it,
funny.
man.
No, you got it.
So honestly, I just was like, I haven't watched a single Nick game, and I'm gonna be honest, but he did like I've been hearing a lot of buzz around this guy, Manny Quickly. So I decided to do a little bit of research in him, and so I noticed that he's like a guard that went kind of late in the first round, but he's been playing super well. I mean, he's had like probably one or two good games, but you got to remember the guards on the Knicks aren't really the best. Alfred Payton, he's a pretty good player, but he lacks shooting. Other than that, like you got Dennis Smith Jr., who a lot of people like, but I'm gonna be honest, he's not that good. He's probably gonna, in my opinion, he's probably gonna be in like some kind of European league in the future. But he's probably working his way up the depth chart, and he's probably gonna become maybe not a staple, but definitely a player that will be in the rotation on the Knicks.
I mean, I don't think like if you're looking at today's game, the Knicks versus the Jazz, like Dennis Smith Jr., he hasn't even stepped on the court yet.
Well, I believe that's because of injuries, though, not just because of like any depth chart or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, for sure, for sure.
One
Damn.
thing I just wanted to point out though is like, I feel like as NBA fans we've been spoiled these last few years. We've had Ben Simmons as a rookie every year. But like Luka Doncic, Trae Young, like all these rookies that have been coming recently, they've just been like amazing talents. And just like this year, it feels a little bit lackluster. Not really big names. James Wiseman, he looks like he could be an all-star, but like,
Whoa.
I don't know about that.
no, not this year. I'm just saying like his
Oh, like
potential.
future All Star, 100%.
Yeah, like a future all-star, but like I'm not really seeing something like a superstar type talent in this year's rookies draft class. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
I just
honestly, I
wanted-
agree with you. Yeah, like there's no Zions or Jaws or Trey or Luca this year, so I definitely agree with that point.
In my opinion, I feel like it's probably LaMelo, just because he already has that like fame around his name.
Get off the ball, Rose, man. Get off the balls.
Look, I love Lonzo, man, and I'm starting to like LaMelo. I mean, he's getting more fantasy points than Lonzo is at the moment in our league, which is really unfortunate for Lonzo. But yeah,
I mean,
think we're
Lonzo,
good.
honestly, while we're talking about the ball brothers, Lonzo has actually improved his 3-point shooting. It's really looking
I
amazing.
think, yeah. I don't
All right,
blame
I
him.
think that's enough about the Ball brothers. Then.
Had enough
Yo,
balls.
y'all forgot the rookie of the year though. Y'all forgot about LiAngelo, man. He's
Bro,
still,
he was so good, bro. He was so good, bro. He played a whole 0 minutes for the Detroit Pistons.
You know who's we've been praising rookies, but like who's really doesn't deserve any praise? Anthony Edwards, man, this guy should have gone to NFL or like some other sports
Or stand-up comedy.
or stand-up comedy, man. This guy,
He's not
I
that
don't know
bad.
what he's doing.
I think it's because Minnesota's not doing that great as like a team, but he's averaging like 14 points a game, and like he
Edwards
wasn't
is at
known.
he's
Look
at
at
his
his field goal
moments.
percentage though. Look at like there's everything else. Like I don't know. It's just he doesn't seem like
Mhm.
that great of a player, and like someone on the Minnesota Timberwolves needs to step up. And he's just a rookie, but like he's shooting like less than 30% from three. Like, come on now, you got to step it up. You got to hit the gym.
See, no, I have to kind of agree with you a little bit. One of the reasons why, like, if you guys remember that earlier episode where we were talking about the NBA draft that was coming up, one of the reasons why I didn't have Anthony Edwards going first overall was because I thought that he would be like exactly the same as Andrew Wiggins in the sense that he seems kind of disinterested, just a high volume scorer with not that good efficiency. And I don't want to say I'm right because it's only been like 6 or 7 games, and he has a whole career ahead of him. I'm sure he'll be fine, but I just didn't think that the Timberwolves would make the same mistake in getting the same type of player in Anthony Edwards as Andrew Wiggins was. You know what I mean?
All right. I don't think that holds that much weight considering they've been shooting themselves in the foot for the past 10 years, and now they're shooting themselves in the other foot. All right, I'm moving us the fuck on from this, bro. We're going from rookie ratings to team ratings. All right, who wants to take this on? And I'm pretty sure some of your teams are doing better than others. Who's taking a stab at this one first?
Can I start off by just praising the Magic? So one of my favorite centers is on the team, Nikola Vucevic. Oh my God! Every year I've been picking this man on my fantasy league, and he's never disappointed. And honestly, he's never disappointed for the Orlando Magic either. He's just been playing at a very high level. I think this year he's finally gonna get the credit he deserves, unless Shaq like hate on him like he does with every other center.
Mm,
Yeah, Nikola Vucevic, just amazing talent, and just like the Orlando Magic look like a very good, well chemistry team, and it's just like, yeah, I'm really interested to see how long they can just keep this consistency of winning basketball games and actually.
just just stay consistent, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Just stay consistent.
Yeah, no, honestly, like coming into the season, none of us had the Magic on our preseason ratings for the how the standings would be for the playoffs. None of us had the Magic going anywhere near the 8th seed. We all had them missing the playoffs, so definitely happy for the Magic there. I personally like the only player on that team that I really liked was Vucevic. Other than that, I thought Aaron Gordon was a little bit overrated. I didn't know that Markelle Fultz would have a great year, and it's kind of unfortunate that he actually got hurt today. But he was having a great year.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, seriously, the Magic have came out the gates super hot, and they're playing super well.
I think it's interesting that at least for my what's it called, for my standings for the East and the West, like my East was like totally wrong. I had Miami in there, and like granted, like it's only been like 10 games, right? Like barely 10 games total for like each team. Like you got the Knicks like at fifth seed, right? And like granted, like 5 to 8 is all 4 and 3, like wins and losses. And you have the Knicks, you got Cleveland, you got Atlanta, and you have Milwaukee at 7, right? I think it's really early to say that these teams are going to make the playoffs because it is like barely 10 games in. But the West is so freaking tight, bro. If you go from like 4 to like 11, they're all like 1 game apiece, like difference. It's like 4 and 3, and then
I mean, it
like
doesn't
three
really
and
mean
four.
much just because the season's only started though.
That's what I'm saying exactly. But it always seems like the West is so tight from like 5 to like the 11th seed or something like that. So it's gonna be rough because like every single team on the West is like good except for like Minnesota or like Memphis, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, yeah.
And Oklahoma City.
Speaking of that, I think Narf owes Kyle a little bit of an apology about the Suns. It has been 7 games, but the Suns have been playing pretty well. I know Kyle wants to keep going on the Suns here.
Yeah, man. Coming into the season, I said that the Suns would be that their ceiling. I want to emphasize that word would be the 4th seed. Currently, I believe they're either the 3rd or 4th seed. I think they're right above. I think they're right behind the Clippers and the Lakers currently. Yeah, there you go.
No, they're second. Yep.
Side with the Clippers, right? So they coming into the year, I just knew it. It's the Chris Paul effect, man. Chris Paul, wherever he goes, teams get better and just play better. That's not just giving him all the praise because their wing players have really stepped it up. Mikal Bridges is averaging like 15 points. He's shooting, I believe, somewhere close to 50% from 3 on 6 attempts. He's playing great defense. Jay Crowder is in there playing great defense as well. Cam Johnson is a serviceable player. Devin Booker has taken a little bit of a step back in terms of scoring, but that's to be expected when you add another ball-dominant guard such as Chris Paul to the team. So all in all, man, I mean, I don't want to say I expected this from the Suns, but I figured that they'd be a competitive team this year. So
It's been a long time coming for the Suns, bro. Like they've been getting better like every season with like DeAndre Ayton and then Kelly Oubre last season, he was pretty good until he got traded to the Warriors. So I feel like the Suns have had like this growth for a long time, and adding Chris Paul to that, it made them like a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely owe Kyle an apology. The Suns actually have been amazing. And like it's not just Devin Booker basketball. It actually looks like team
A
basketball.
team, yep.
Yeah. So and I would probably credit that to Chris Paul just because he's such a great floor general and like a good leader. Like there's no doubt about it. So yeah, hopefully they can sustain. I wouldn't mind seeing the Suns there and always Chris Paul just succeeding as a point guard. Like he's definitely one of the greatest point guards out there.
I just want to say one last thing about the Suns. Those new jerseys, the City Edition jerseys they have, are beautiful, and that court that they play on when they play with those jerseys is so nice. And that's all I gotta say, really. But awesome.
All
Yeah.
right.
You
So
about
let
the
me just.
cup? One of those jerseys.
Man, they lost one beautiful thing on that team though. Kelly Oubre. I'm gonna just say that. I had to.
Man, I think we can all agree that you're spitting facts right now. This man is beautiful, bro. But you know
no,
what isn't? You know what isn't beautiful? The Toronto Raptors record. What's going on, man?
Hey,
What's going on, man?
I mean, to be honest, I honestly didn't think Raptors were going to be this bad. I knew they were going to be bad, but like I thought that they would still push for playoffs just because of the basketball culture that's there. But also, you gotta think about it this way: they're at the most disadvantage out of any other team. They're playing in Tampa, yeah, that's just like one big thing, and they don't have that
Right.
crowd.
No home
The
court.
Raptors basketball was always known for its fans. Like, I'm not saying this just as a Raptors fan, but like we had Jurassic Park, and like the Toronto Raptors was known for their fan base. So
Yeah, 100%.
without that, I feel like Raptors are at a great disadvantage. I know it's not a big thing, but they lost Ibaka as well. They lost Marc Gasol, who I didn't really like, but like honestly, that playmaking, not like having that anymore on the floor is just really tough on a team. And I don't know what the hell Pascal Siakam is doing. Oh my god!
Bro,
I hope he gets traded
doing-
for like.
Bro, he's doing what he's always done, bro. The spin move, man.
Bro,
Bro.
so I don't think it can be understated. Sure, Marc Gasol was starting to decline a little bit last year, particularly in the playoffs, but the basketball IQ that him and Serge Ibaka had, because Serge Ibaka before he came into Toronto was really just a shot blocker who hit like a mid range once in a while. But when he got to Toronto, he really grew as just like a basketball player in terms of IQ. He started making better passes. He started like reading and reacting to defenses better. And them losing that and replacing it with Aaron Baines, who's not been good this year, and Alex Len has been a big problem. Before the season started, I said Norman Powell would be. I said he would win the Sixth Man of the Year. Dude, he is not living up to my prediction whatsoever. He's not been good this year. Fred VanVleet has been so and so. OG has been not
Fred?
great either.
I feel like Fred's been going off, bro. He's been going
He's not
dummy.
been going off. He's been okay. Like some games he'll be
Yeah.
really good, other games he'll be mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's just my opinion. That can't be understated. Plus, about Pascal, man, like I watched the game. I believe they just played. Was it the Knicks or the Hawks? It was one of those two teams. Pascal just doesn't look like he's aggressive anymore. It looks like, I don't want to say it, but it looks like the league might have figured him out when he goes into the rim and turns into a Beyblade. Like it's teams just know what to do.
My man has really said Beyblade.
I mean,
That's a throwback, man.
but yeah, man, that's all I really got to say about the Raptors. But I hope teams haven't figured out Pascal because I mean I still want him to be good.
The way they paid him, right? Like 200 mil. He's averaging 17 points a game, while Fred VanVleet is averaging like 21. So it's like, and like Fred VanVleet didn't get paid nearly as much as he did. So I'm like, I feel bad for the Raptors. They made like a really bad investment. But I mean, it might just be that Pascal's in a funk right now. You know, he might get out of it.
He's been in funk for like
Since the playoffs.
Bro, Pascal hasn't been sitting right ever since Jaylen Brown put him in the jail, bro. I might just say that. And going off that, I've been saying this for the longest time ever. I think Pascal Siakam is pretty overrated. I don't think he deserved to be on an all NBA team at all. I don't think he's a bad player by any means. It's just that he's playing differently, and I don't think that's how the Raptors want to play him. Ever since he got that all NBA selection and he got an all-star appearance, he's been kind of playing differently. If you ever notice, he kind of thinks he's like a superstar level player. Before he got big or before he was named an all-star, like he used to hustle all over the place. Like he would sprint to the corner, shoot the three, he'd run in transition. But now, like Kyle was saying, maybe the NBA figured him out. But I think it's just that he's trying to change his play style, and it's not fitting into the Raptors system. That's just my personal take.
He's doing too much. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's doing way too much.
Yeah, because he's overrated. That's why.
Oh,
I'm not gonna argue with you on that. Like, I'm not saying he's overrated because I think everyone's kind of seeing where he's at. But I mean, I hope he has some trade value because I really want James Harden on the Raptors. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oof, that's a hot topic, man. I'm not gonna lie. Could see that happening, especially with Masai Ujiri.
Oh yeah, with no, I'm not even gonna say anything. All right, so I think that's about it for teams, right?
No. There's one team that we have to talk about: the New York Knicks. Are you kidding me? Do you see what they're doing?
That's facts.
Tom Thibodeau. amazing coach. I know he gets a lot of hate because he really overworks his players and causes a lot of injuries, but especially with Derrick Rose. Like, I think that's the most heartbreaking thing. But yeah, it's just him putting RJ Barrett to like extremely good use. I just got him on my fantasy league, just so you guys know. I'm rooting for him. But yeah, the only team that they lost to, or not the only team, one of the teams that they lost to were like the Sixers, so that kind of makes sense. To beat the Bucks, they have Julius Randle. This man needs respect. Oh my God, he's playing out of like he's amazing. Emmanuel quickly, we talked about him. Great rookie. And then Obi Toppin, he's injured, but like I think if he comes back, he can add to the offense. It's just I feel like there's something actually going on with the Knicks, and it's nice to see. They even beat the Brooklyn Nets, right? So yeah, that's definitely a surprise.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that the Raptors are the only team the Raptors beat were the Knicks. Sad to put that out there.
They
Okay.
won one game. I didn't even look at their record. Oh my God.
I think the Knicks came back from like 15 down versus the Atlanta Hawks, and I was watching that game, and you guys are making the point about Emmanuel quickly earlier. Like I think he played college ball at Kentucky, and no, he's been really good. I think Tom Thibodeau played him that entire fourth quarter because I thought Tom Thibodeau, one of his biggest knocks was that he didn't really trust his younger players, who would ride his veteran players or his star players, sometimes to a fault. But in that game, it looked like he made a difference because rather than after the Knicks coming back, rather than him subbing back in his veteran guard like Elfrid Payton, for example, he rode with Emmanuel quickly and let him finish out the game, and that game ended with a win. You're definitely right. Nikola Jokic, Julius Randle's having a great year. He's doing things. I just got to hope he can sustain it because we've seen these flashes from him. So let's just see what he can do for the rest of the year.
True.
So,
That's interesting.
you know what team is really unfortunate at the moment? So like not too long ago we talked about how there's a big trade going on and how we could see, you know, either team benefiting, right? Or one or the other. We chose when we were talking about the Wizards and the Rockets completing this trade, bro. And the records are not too different. Let me just verify that real quick. So record for Houston is 2-3. For Washington is 2-5. So Washington is not doing that great with Russell Westbrook at the helm, and you know the Rockets are not doing that good as well. So what are your guys' thoughts on this?
So I've been watching Washington Wizards basketball games because I've been very intrigued to see what they would do. And most people, just by looking at the numbers, they immediately would blame everything on Russell Westbrook. And I'm going to go against that. I've never been a Russell Westbrook guy. I mean, we sat in this podcast for like 20 minutes and me and Narf argued and I called him trash and overrated. But this is not Westbrook's fault, man. This is on Scott Brooks. He's been awful as a coach. He's basically turned into the new Jim Boylan this year. There was his lineup that he played versus the Chicago Bulls, which, I mean, you have to beat the Chicago Bulls. They're not a good team and they're awful defensively as well. It was like Raul Neto, it was Thomas Bryant, Russell Westbrook, Troy Brown, and who was the last? Ish Smith. Like who on that lineup is defending anyone? Thomas Bryant can't rebound or defend anyone to begin with, and you're surrounding him with all negative defenders. Like that makes no sense. You have to not only like I get the Wizards don't have any good defensive players, but you have to try to keep your team from hurting themselves. You know what I mean? Like currently they are the 27th ranked defense in the NBA, which I mean, I figured they'd be a bad defensive team because they don't have any good defensive players. But I figured like at the very least, Scott Brooks would try to keep them from, you know, shooting themselves in the foot with his terrible rotations. But I guess that just has not been the case this year. What do you guys think?
As a Wizards fan, not a real fan, but like just so because I want to see Russell Westbrook succeed. It's really disappointing to see how this started off. But also we gotta see that the teams that they played, they've been relatively hard, except for like Chicago Bulls. They should have definitely won that. But, like they've played against Sixers, Magics are also a playoff team. And like the games have been close. It's not like they've been blown out in any of the games. But yeah, it's just I totally see what you're saying about the defense. Like, there's literally no defense being played by anybody. It's just And like you just today, right now the game between Wizards and Sixers, Bradley Beal dropped 60, and it's just like there's a lot of offense, but there's really no defense. Like the score is 141 to 136. So like they're just looking at stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, Wizards got to change it up, and that's definitely on the coach, not Russell Westbrook. But
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, but
sorry, my bad. I was just gonna say it's just like the position they were in last year. Last year, to start off the year, they were a very hot offense, but then they started struggling, and their offense started going back down to earth, and they stayed a terrible defensive team. And you're not going to win games by being a middle of the pack offense. 'Cause right now they're ninth in offensive rating per NBAstats.com. That is probably, it might go up. Who knows? I think it should because they have a lot of shooters, and you surround Russell Westbrook with that spacing. It should be a positive, but they have to either make a trade and get some good defensive players, or they have to figure out a scheme that works for them. Otherwise, you can't just be a good offense and be like a bottom defense and hope to even. I think they're going to be at the very least, a play-in tournament team, but if they want to make some actual noise, they have to change up what they're doing right now.
yeah, no, for sure, I totally agree with that. Come on,
Yeah,
Westbrook.
Now, what I want to see is like, Bradley Beal is playing his own game, and so is Westbrook. I kind of want to see that teamwork, that synergy. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be 1+1 = 2. It should be 1+1 = 3. If you know what I mean? Like for example, like when Bradley Beal was playing with John Wall, like that was a deadly duo. Like I'm more afraid of that duo than I am of Westbrook and Bradley Beal. If you know what I mean? That's what I want to see from the Wizards.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying about that. Yeah, Russell Westbrook definitely needs to get some pressure off Bradley Beal and like help him with just like getting the ball to him, but like also getting defenses away from him and just like working together. Yeah, I totally get that, but I think the main problem that lies for the Wizards, as Kyle said, is the defense. Until they fix their defense, no matter what the rest of the players do, I don't think
And
Wizards are
Scott
going
Brooks.
anywhere.
And Scott Brooks, he's been really bad too. Those two things have been their biggest problem. All right, we can move whenever you guys are ready.
I mean, since you're pivoting us like this, you can go ahead and take the next one
Well, there's a team that I want to talk about. The
or talk
Heat.
about them.
What's going on with them? I haven't really kept up with what's happening in the organization and the games that they're playing, but yeah, they're out of the playoff right now. They're in 10th seed, but I mean, it doesn't look like they're making any noise. Like they don't look like they just came out of the NBA Finals. So I guess it goes back to, did they get into the finals by fluke last year, or like what's going on with them? What do you guys think?
I think the Heat have cooled down. Yes.
I see what you did there.
I
Man was waiting for this the whole time.
That's funny.
think there's a lot of issues that the Heat have been having as of recently. Number one, their biggest problem is Jimmy Butler. He got injured and then he's come back and he just has not looked like himself. I think he's only averaging like 10 points per game or something along that line. That has been one of their biggest problems. And another thing I guess you could say now is that they're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. Teams are they're gonna know, like last year. I don't think anybody before the season said that the Miami Heat would be the NBA Finals. That's something that no, that's just not something that people were thinking. And now people are gonna treat them like they're one of these elite teams, and they're gonna have to respond to that accordingly. And if they don't, they might just get left behind. That's just my opinion on them.
Yeah, totally
I mean,
agree.
it's facts, yeah. No, I agree. Jimmy Butler has been injured, and I definitely like don't want this to be like another Isaiah Thomas case where like he's forcing himself to play when he hasn't fully recovered, because that almost always goes like the wrong way. So like if he is still injured, then like I hope he like sits down and lets his injury go away and heal fully before he makes like a comeback. Because like we are like barely 10 games into the season. Like even if you lose like the next 5 or whatever, you need to take a few weeks off. Take those weeks off. That's just my take. I like the point that my man made about the thing, how the Heat are now no longer undercover. That was actually very interesting because do you think you could relate that to the Raptors as well? Because they made the finals like 2 years ago, and then they played great last season. So why are they not doing so good this season?
Honestly, I've got two
Besides,
things to
like,
add to that.
surgeon thing.
Yeah, no, I've got two things to add to that. So one, let's talk about the Heat. So like Kyla was saying, like they're not under the radar anymore. Teams are gonna zero in on Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Both their percentages have dropped a little bit to start the season, and it makes sense why teams are definitely zeroing in on them. That's kind of the same point with the Raptors. Like Fred VanVleet is like gonna be that guy now. Kyle Lowry's getting older, and what that contract that they just gave Fred VanVleet, they're looking to him as to be the kind of the future with Siakam, unless they make some moves or whatever. But teams are gonna zero in on these two guys, and typically shooters like they need kind of an off season to work with, and there was no off season to be given this year, or it was relatively short. So maybe that's why Fred VanVleet is not really off to the hottest start, but now he's playing pretty well and like himself. So I think that's probably why, just because of a shorter season, like the Heat are they're a shooting team, so that might be why. I also do believe what Kyle was saying about like Jimmy Butler being injured. I mean, I'm watching the game right; it's literally happening right now. I caught the first half, and Jimmy Butler he got hurt again. He kind of shaked it off, but I don't think that he's going to sit this game out. He's the type of person, and we all know about his work ethic and the amount of time he spends in the gym. He's not the type of person to sit out a game if he doesn't need to. Like he's definitely a really gritty player, so I don't think he will. But Jimmy Butler's kind of the heart and soul of that Heat team. So I feel like when there's no Jimmy Butler, there's no Heat. If that makes any sense.
No, that does. Like that honestly does. And you know, to me, he is literally worth his weight in gold in terms of like in every single penny that he makes. So, like, he's one of the few people in the NBA where I feel like he almost might be underpaid, but he's definitely like earns his money. So I know a few of you. I know a few of y'all got a a differing opinion to say the least about like people that are playing up to their contracts. So Kyle, I know you had somebody on your shit list. Let's hear it.
Hey man, I think this is the second time that Narf might have to apologize to me, because when I brought this guy up as a guy who's going to break out this year, he said that this guy plays for the Pistons. He's putting up these empty numbers and they're not going to translate to anything. But man, Christian Wood this year has been balling out. I, before the season started, picked him as the guy who's going to win the most improved player. And so far, he has done my prediction justice, man. He's doing his thing. Sure, he can't defend anybody, but man, he's putting up numbers and he's hitting threes. He's rebounding. He's easily the most versatile offensive big man that James Harden has played with. There was this one play in his first game where he faked out, I believe it was like Derrick Jones Jr., got it past and dribbled it to the rim and dunked on somebody, which was awesome. He caught like a lob over Nikola Jokic. In the game, they ended up losing because neither him or Jokic could defend each other. But all in all, man, I've just been very, very impressed by Christian Wood. He's doing his thing, and it's crazy. He was on the Philadelphia 76ers in the process years, and he was just never given a chance. The New Orleans Pelicans had him for like 12 or 13 games a couple years back, and he played really well, but they just didn't give him a chance after that. In Detroit, he broke out. Detroit, a lot of people have been saying that Detroit just let him walk for nothing. I doubt that's the case, considering the promise that he showed. So I think he wanted to leave Detroit, but man, he's just been doing his thing, and I'm very happy for that. I guess I own a lot of stock in the Christian Wood fan club, you could say.
I gotta apologize to you for the second time in the podcast. Yeah, Christian Wood, 3-year, 41 million is looking really good right now. Yeah, this dude is nuts. I didn't really think he was that good, but oh my god, he's what? He's a double. Like he's averaging a double right now. So 23.6 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. Like, damn, Christian Woods is good. So definitely apologize to you for saying he's got empty stats, but yeah, but like I don't know with Houston, like if his stats are gonna help the Houston stay in the playoff run, because there's still so much other things going on. But I guess yeah, 3-year, 41 million. That's good.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good deal. Yo, Kyle, I got a question for you.
What's up?
This is kind of out of pocket, though. I'm gonna be honest, man, but I'm just trying to stay consistent. So, does Christian make your wood harden?
God.
I mean, obviously. What kind of question is that?
Sorry, man.
Sir.
What do this, it's kind of interesting. Aray was the guy who also brought up Kelly Oubre. You're going down a fascinating track, brother. This is interesting.
Oh shoot.
Hey,
Uh,
for all my boys in the sad boy hours and all that, just so you know, Christian Woods, after he went undrafted, I don't know, I read a story or something that like his girlfriend broke up with him and all that, but like
Yeah.
look at him now. I'm glad he's doing good for himself. I'm sure the girl is regretting. I think she actually blocked comments or restricted comments on her
Oh.
posts because she's getting hate.
For 3 years, 41 million, and he's putting up like 23 and almost 10. And the crazy part is that he's not even shooting that great from three right now. He's a career 35% three-point shooter, and he's shooting 27% right now. So that percentage is, as the season goes on, it's going to progress to the mean. So he's going to be getting even better. It might not even be a stretch to say that he could be an all-star level player. I mean, I know he's like 25. I don't know, maybe who knows, but yeah, he's been doing his thing. I'm very excited to see what he continues to do with the rest of his career.
Okay, so that's true and all. His contract is definitely one that, like, he's living up to his contract. He's earning that contract. I will say, like, we talked about this earlier whenever he got signed and traded. But Gordon Hayward, like I was saying, how Boston wasn't the right fit for him, and I feel like the way that Gordon Hayward has been playing this season, I was definitely right. Like, he just played against Atlanta, right? He dropped 43 points, dude. And, like, his averages are nothing that, like, you could just brush off. He's averaging 19 points almost. A couple of steals, a few assists, and then, like, 6 rebounds. I think, like, Boston was definitely the problem for Gordon Hayward. He just never had the opportunity the way that Charlotte is giving him that opportunity. Because he's playing, like, 35 minutes almost per game, or 34 minutes per game. And he's doing great in Charlotte. And maybe 120 was a little bit too much, but he's definitely, like, making sure that his name earns some respect. The game that they played today, he actually just dropped 43. He's been hovering around the 20 mark for a while. So I think we should put some more respect on Gordon Hayward's name.
Yeah. Honestly, I think his contract is still a little bit too much. But like, of course, it's Charlotte, so like you can't really expect for big time players to come. So I mean, yeah, he's definitely doing good for the team. And I guess I wouldn't say Boston was the problem. It was just they had so much talent on the team that he couldn't. I guess.
Right. It just wasn't the right fit. Like, I'm not saying like the coaching system was bad or anything like that. It's just that they had people like Kyrie, they had Jason Tatum, they had Jaylen Brown. And I feel
Marcus
like that.
Smart. Don't forget Marcus
Oh
Smart,
my
bro.
God, the best
The
player on the
GOAT,
team.
bro.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
sir.
They have Daniel Tice, amazing, bro. But like he it just stifled his room for gaining his confidence back. I think he just needed a bigger role to get like his feet back under him, and I think he's getting that with Charlotte.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely happy for Hayward. Like, I don't want to say like this game was totally like out of pocket for him or anything like that, but he's averaging before this game 18 points a game, which isn't bad at all by any means. I am happy for him, and just letting you guys know, I am a Celtics fan, so definitely had my fair shares of struggles watching him play, but I'm happy that he has a clean slate. He can play somewhere else where he's doing well. So maybe he's living up to that contract. We'll have to see, and hopefully he can stay like not injured. That's one of the problems that he had on the Celtics. Every time he started going and getting momentum, he would just get hurt, whether it was like a broken fist. Shout out LaMarcus Aldridge for that, or if it was obviously that gruesome ankle injury. He every time he would get going, he would just get hurt. So hopefully after tonight, he can kind of cool down and just kind of keep it going. So speaking of like players that have kind of lived up to their contract, let's talk about one that definitely got overpaid, in my opinion, at least. Let's talk about Rudy Gobert, man. This dude got paid. I believe it was Gobert, whatever. I don't put respect on his name at all. I personally don't like him as a player, but that's something else. But anyways, he got paid over 200 mil for averaging about 14 points and 13 rebounds. And I'm going to say he's grossly overrated and overpaid. I want to hear your guys' opinion before I do my rebuttal on it.
Okay. Now, obviously, I do think that's a little bit too much. But one thing that I think a lot of people forget to incorporate into like salaries and stuff like that is that the time that the person has spent with the team. And that's not to say like seniority plays like a huge role in the NBA or anything like that. it does. But what I mean is that he spent so much time in the system for the Jazz. And I feel like that's really invaluable whenever a team has established a culture and you've been in that culture for a while, you know how things run. So I think it's really hard to put a value on that certain aspect of somebody's salary. Granted, like I said, I do agree it's a little bit too much, but I mean you do hate on Rudy Gobert. Like he's a good center, right? But obviously he's not the best, right? There's a lot of debating that could go on right now. But like you can't understate how valuable experience is.
Honestly, I'm gonna kind of disagree with that. I feel like the reason why the Jazz paid him so much was if they let him walk, they were basically screwed. The only like good player on their team would be Donovan Mitchell, and they would not be a playoff team. I personally don't even think they're a playoff team this year.
Bro,
they just lost to the Knicks.
You're disrespecting Joe Ingles. How you forget Joe Ingles, man?
No, I mean, he hasn't been great since last year. Even Bogdanovich he started off pretty hot, but this year he hasn't been that great.
Hater,
so like, I feel like the Jazz had no other choice but to like pay him, or else he probably threatened to leave, and they'd basically be screwed. But yeah, I know Kyle has something to say.
Yeah, see, I gotta disagree with you. So sure, you can make the argument that he's not worth that contract when he struggled. He's a little limited offensively, but his defensive impact, it can't be understated. He's still the best defensive center in the league. You can make the argument that Bam is more versatile than him. I think that, like, just looking at the numbers, that's a little bit of a stretch. I would say no. I mean, like, center. Anthony Davis plays a lot of power forward. Anthony Davis, obviously the best big man in the league.
Pure centers.
Yeah, so I would say like pure centers. I would say Gobert is either right now the fourth or fifth best center. I would probably take him fifth just because Bam's a lot younger, but I would take him right now over Bam because he's still a great rim deterrent. Donovan Mitchell might be the go-to scorer on that team, but without Rudy Gobert on that team the last few years, they wouldn't even sniff the playoffs. So I think he's vital to the team, and there's more to defense than just one-on-one play. There's help side defense. There's a thought that goes into your opponent's mind when they're driving the lane that, hey, this guy might come and affect my shot. So there's a huge component to defense, and I think he really emphasizes that. And sure, he might not be worth it, but they didn't really have much of a choice but to pay him.
Yeah,
I agree with both of you guys actually. Yeah, they didn't have much choice to pay him that much, but I think it's gonna come back to bite them. Just because I don't know, I just don't see Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell as like a championship contending team. Like they're really good, they're playoff contending, but I don't know. Rudy Gobert is definitely overpaid, but it's not like he's a bad center and like he is just gonna like deteriorate the team. But yeah, he's really needed on the team to like just play that defensive position and like hold on to paint. But yeah, I don't understand why like Shaq has been hating on him so much. Like I get it. Like he's not the best scorer, but yeah, as Kyle said, his defense can't be understated. Like it's amazing what he does on the defensive end, and that's why. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna say one thing about his defense and then his offense. So sure, he's a good defender, but he's not the best perimeter defender. And to kind of go off of that, so yeah, let's say he's good on the defensive end, right? But on the offensive end, he's very below average. He can't shoot at all. He's not the best free throw shooter. He can't make mid-range jump shots. He doesn't really have a post-up play. So it kind of balances it off. His very underwhelming offense kind of goes against his very good defense. So it's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to like hate on him or anything like that, but it's kind of like you're really paying a dude. You want to pay a dude $200 million to get rebounds and to sit in the paint, basically. That's all I really had to say off that. You know what I mean? Definitely think he's overpaid. But yeah, do you guys have any other players that you want to do for contracts? Or you want to move on to the next bit that we have?
I think we're about good, right?
Word. Yo, all right, Kyle, start us up. We got some trivia for us.
All right, word. So the trivia question for today is that since 1997, in the regular season, there have been 3 players who have shot 20 or more free throws in a single quarter. There have been 3 players. I'm not gonna give you guys any names. Just take a guess like bad free throw shooters. So we're gonna start in order. Issa, you got any guesses?
Oh my God. Wait, so you said they've shot 20 free throws in a quarter?
20 or more free throws in a quarter. And just remember your answer.
There's only
'cause I
been
do
3
not-
players that have done that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick James Harden. I'm gonna
Okay.
pick DJ, and I'm gonna pick Shaq. DeAndre
You
Jordan.
said
DeAndre
James
Jordan.
Harden, DeAndre Jordan, and Shaq. Okay. Narf, you want to go next?
Shaq, I think he's definitely on there. They had to make a whole like Shaq rule for him.
Yeah.
Hack
a Shaq.
a Shaq. James Harden, I
Okay.
think he's there just the way he's able to draw fouls. And then the last one, I'm guessing it's some stupid name. I'm not even gonna try to guess that.
Wait, what was
Alright.
the question?
So since 1997 in the regular season, there have only been 3 players who have shot 20 or more free throws in a single quarter. You can just throw out 3 names. Just guess.
James Harden, Shaq, and shit, man. Shannon Brown. I don't know.
Shannon Brown.
All right.
Okay.
Aray, you want to give this a shot?
I'll give it a shot. I have zero confidence in my answer, so I'm gonna go with what you guys are saying. DeAndre Jordan. We're gonna go with Shaq, and then we're gonna go with Andre Drummond, maybe.
Man, nobody even got one.
Wait. Can I get a hint? Can I get a hint? Whoa, hold
No.
on.
No,
Is
no
it
hints.
is it a player that's still playing today? Let me just ask that.
2 of them are.
Embiid.
Nope.
Embiid.
All right. We're done. No, we're done. All right. So the answers are Ben Simmons, who shot 20 or
What?
more free throws in 2017, Dwight Howard, who did it in 2013, and Ben Wallace, who did it in 2005.
How would I
Not-
forget?
We got a single one.
I
That's
forgot
crazy.
Dwight Howard because I remember they used to foul him on purpose just so they can get him to the free throw line and they can do a comeback just like
Power
that.
play
Oh
again,
my
yeah.
god!
Spurs used to do, or Spurs still do. Well, I'm not sure if they still do it, but they used to do that a lot with DJ, and they did it with Dwight Howard too, man. I'm surprised I didn't remember Dwight Howard.
I remember
That's
what they call
crazy.
it. They had KJ McDaniels come in from the Rockets to foul Andre Drummond 5 consecutive times within a matter of 3 seconds. I remember that. That shit was pretty funny.
I remember one time, like Shaq like just got checked into the game. I think it was the beginning of the game, and like Coach Pop wanted someone that like already told someone to foul him, and he was like, "What the hell is this?" It was like the very beginning of the game. It was
Yeah, I remember that. I
I remember
remember
that
one
too.
time in Manhunt. Yeah, but
Wait.
Yeah, that's out of pocket, bro. That's out of pocket.
All right. I think that's a perfect way to end up the podcast, man. Hey Ray, you want to give the socials, buddy?
Yeah. So if you guys enjoy our content, appreciate that, and appreciate you guys for listening. So if you guys want to feature maybe a question or anything like that, you can go to our YouTube channel, the East Coast Browncast, and leave a comment on one of our videos. And we'll probably be reading off some of the comments there. You can also email us at eastcoastbrowncast@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram and a Twitter at ECBcast, so you can check out our posts there and our tweets. So with that, that's pretty much all we got for y'all.
For sure.
the Tempo by Aray and Kyle. Great stuff.
Yeah, we do have a runoff podcast where it's just me,
Yep.
Aray and Kyle, and it's called Push the Tempo podcast. It's another NBA podcast, so you can check us out. And we're also in the works of a gaming podcast as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Peace.
All right.